Hi everyone, welcome back to Jlunce Reviews. I decided to change the setup, change the methodology a little bit for my video reviews like this because, I don't know, change is good, change is interesting, especially for a channel with as few subs as mine. Maybe one day we'll find some sense of normalcy. But today we are talking about the brand new record from Atlanta rapper extraordinaire, one of the best in the game currently, JID, or JID, with his new record, God Does Like Ugly. Now, this is probably going to turn out to be one of the biggest, most anticipated releases for rap music this year, especially following, his, quite frankly, incredible record, Forever Story for 2022. One of the best rap albums of the decade thus far. I don't think that's going to be a pretty controversial statement, but yeah, it definitely is. He started as a Dreamville signee way back in the day, in the 2010s, and through some mixtapes, the DiCaprio mixtapes and stuff like that, the Never Story, he started to gain some underground recognition, but a little bit of mainstream recognition, but it wasn't until Forever Story 2022 where his career skyrocketed with bangers like Surround Sound, Kill You Blue 31, System M, Crack Sandwich, amazing, soulful southern hip-hop production of this thing. But today we're talking about the new record, his brand new record 3 years later, huge follow-up, and based on the title for this thing and the, quite frankly, incredible cover art for this thing, I was anticipating a slight change in pace and maybe a bigger emphasis on JID as a person, his struggle, his faith maybe. And in a lot of ways we do get that on God Does Like Ugly. I mean, even on the first track we get lines like "Live from the depths of hell with angel wings" that have yet to fail. There are other bars in this first track about the troubling state that JID believes America is in when it comes to either race relations or just in general peace, like with the bar about that says where he twists the one nation under God, indivisible from the Pledge of Allegiance, and twists it saying, "New stick, just a beast, no nation under God, indivisible, with liberty that is just for the squad," for a gang. West Side Gun brings these classic, the West Side Gun ad-libs, as you'd expect, very grimy, very in your face, very eccentric, very action-packed and wild. I love the bit of percussion beat in the first half of the beat with the drums. Second half though as well, it just has a much more, as a hardcore hip hop sort of vibe to it. It's a really great opener and definitely a track that had me excited for the rest of the project. I think Glory as well is a very fantastic track too, mostly about the importance of faith, of allegiance to a higher power, and how JID has kind of felt that, or did feel that the Forever Story, he wasn't quite given the recognition that he thought he would. Not necessarily that it wasn't successful, but more so that he felt like he wasn't getting the responses politically, or at least the responses to change the world in a way that he thought the record would. But it's a great beat, very serene, but also very trap-inspired. Work, which was the lead single for this new record, I liked on first listen a decent amount. It honestly has grown on me a little bit just because the catchiness of it, the repetitiousness of it. I do think it kind of has a little bit of that old-time 90s southern hip-hop aesthetic and feel, kind of like a mix between like maybe Outkast and T.I. along those lines. It's very fun. It's very catchy. Jay brings a great flow, of course, and it's definitely a good song about his continued struggle to improve and his continued struggle to put in work to achieve what he did on Forever Story and sort of top that. He feels the pressure pushing it on him. The fourth track actually features Clips, Pusha T, and Malice, which is not that surprising considering the success of the new Clips record, and JID probably thinking that a feature from these guys would make for a big stir on this record. But unfortunately, I kind of feel like Pusha and Malice deliver some pretty standard verses for them. Not necessarily bad, but their flows are nowhere near as good as JID's on the song. I feel like the beat is a little bit too stripped back, a little bit too minimal, kind of eerie, kind of serious, and a little bit forlorn. But yeah, I think the bars from Pusha and Clips, while there are some standout moments from them for sure, the flows just aren't really all that interesting. I just wish that the first minute of the track with JID verse carried the same energy as the next half, really. Well, that Lisan Al-Gaib bar is good. A Dune drop in a rap song is always going to be good. Next we have VCRs featuring Vince Staples, which I feel like a lot of people are going to be very excited to hear these two rap on track together, being as though they have pretty good chemistry on this song. They trade bars very nicely. They have really good camaraderie. I love the Latin guitars laced in the trap instrumental here. It has a nice, very smooth and rich flair to the song that I like quite a bit. And JID's flows on here, as usual, are great. Across this entire record, really, his flows are pretty impeccable. But I love the really awesome breakdown that Vince Staples showcases. It's kind of like a sort of situation with like Kendrick on that Freedom track, that Beyonce song, where his feature goes through like a countdown with each stanza of the verse. The following track, Skate, I've seen some controversial or mixed feelings on this track, being how it's kind of supposed to be this like sort of catchy-esque club banger sort of thing, and I think it's kind of great, featuring Earthgang and Sierra. And Sierra brings this really awesome, catchy, just really nice flow for the hook. And I think that Earthgang brings the usual like kind of goofy, slightly goofy, but kind of tongue-in-cheek and very fun energy to the song that I really like. I like the east side, west side, south side repetition in the chorus as well, and JID just matches the aesthetic really well, really nicely. The very rhythmic beat that this song showcases honestly really reminds me of, and people are gonna hate this, but it does remind me of that Drake track off of For All the Dogs, the Sexy Red track. I can't remember what the fuck it's called. I should know what it's called, because I've had a lot of fun playing that song with my friends over the course of the last couple years that song's been out. I forget what it's called. But that song, you know what I'm talking about, the one with Sexy Red on it. It kind of has that energy with it as well, just done better here. But it's really, really good. I really like this song. It's very, very fun. I think the next few tracks, up until No Boo, kind of present a dip in quality for the album, which is where I think the true problems with the structure of the record kind of come to light. I feel like this album is sort of in the same space, in the same creative zone as Kanye West's The Life of Pablo, where it's kind of stripped back, it's a little bit more skeletal, and it's very, very odd and eccentric and a little bit weird. There's a lot of different sounds being used, a lot of different genres being weaved in and out, even a lot of very interesting vocal effects or even lyrical themes are being explored here. And similar to The Life of Pablo, it also kind of has a little bit of a consistency problem, a little bit of a tedium with how some tracks will go on for too long, some tracks feel kind of meaningless or a little bit all over the place. I wouldn't say it has as low of lows as The Life of Pablo, maybe not as high of highs as that album, but definitely similar in terms of the quality branching in and out, and weaving in and out, going up and down, kind of constantly. But these songs, they're still, I still like them. They're still decent to even good, but they don't really bring as much lyrically for JID, because he's usually singing more. He's more crooning. He's more. It's more of a love narrative with these songs, very R&B-ish, kind of Bryson Tiller-esque. Especially the track immediately following Skate, What We On, featuring Don Toliver, definitely has like a little bit of a woozy back of a strip club kind of vibe to it, sort of. Especially with like the weird vocal inflections and the very minimal spacey beat. Kind of reminds me a little bit like a Drake or even a Don Toliver track, to be honest. So, take it or leave it. I think it's still decent. I think it's executed okay, but it definitely presents a little bit of a lull in the track listing for sure. I think No Boo is a little bit better for sure with that Jesse Reyes feature. And it's a pretty good song lyrically about the dangers of dumping your emotional baggage over a past relationship and kind of allowing that to trickle down and taint a new relationship that you're currently in as the song progresses. And I will say, I think this is the track, one of the tracks, I'll forget, because the new way I'm doing this, I'm trying to be a little bit more, less streamlined, not really a script. I think this is the track where it happens, but JID starts rapping in Spanish, like Drake mode, meet your padre type stuff. And it's actually, you know what? It goes there pretty well. He actually raps very smoothly with that Spanish accent and Spanish language. It's kind of weird. I don't know how he does it, but he does it, and it goes over pretty well, I will say. We do get back into more of the bangers with On McAfee, which I am a little bit mixed on because of the Baby Kia feature. It kind of has his yelping and yelling quality, along with the grimy, very hardcore inspired bassy beat. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Zillikami, which I just recently heard that project for the first time. And I can tell you one thing, trap metal, not for me. But it kind of has that sort of tone to it. The second verse from JID does make up for the track though. The flow on that part of the song is just so good. He really goes in with his cadence, his delivery on this song. And then Of Blue is this grand 3-act lyrical odyssey that goes into a lot of different directions. A lot of people will think that it's kind of disjointed, a little bit all over the place, and not too cohesive, especially with the beginning verse from Mariba. Sorry if mispronounced her name, but very elegant opening lines from her that portray this innocence really, really nicely. She sounds like a mix of SZA and Adrian Lenker, which sounds weird, but I really do think she does. I love the bar on this song that exemplifies the pointlessness and the just meaninglessness of creating more of a cesspool, adding more to this culture of drug use with the line, and like sand to a beach, he brought some blow to the snow. All 3 acts just had create this delineation of a journey, a spiritual journey. The first third is very somber, and then JID follows that with the stream of consciousness verse about a raw confession to sins in life. And then part 3 takes on a more redemptive tone, about searching for a higher purpose, searching for a newer purpose, a purpose that will allow that person to flourish. I think it's a really, really fantastic song, one of JID's best tracks lyrically. And the beat is smooth, very, very, very elegant, very somber, very calm, very subdued. It really allows JID's verses to stand out more. And then you follow that with K-Word, which has this really, really airy and foreboding, almost scary and dark, grimy trap beat to it with these eerie tones hanging in the background. That's really, really nice. And it's one of the more bassy cuts to the bass on this song is really elevated in the mix. Pastor Troy really brings a definitely a gloominess, a more a frightening tone to the song for sure. And JID just sounds ferocious on this song, at points. The Ruby Rose booty line. Yeah, and the album actually ends with Four Keeps, which is definitely more of a soulful cut. There's a very prominent soul sample in this track. It's a little bit more of a southern hip hop, summery southern hip hop sort of track that ends the album on a very uplifting note, I would say. It's definitely more about his come up in the rap game. JID's thankful for being able to have this opportunity, for being able to get out of the situation he was in Atlanta and the hardships he faced during that time. It's a really powerful and uplifting song, great ending to the album. It does kind of, though, feel a little bit disconnected, like just production-wise from the other tracks here. It just kind of feels like, oh, you love the Forever Story. Here's one song we're gonna end off with in case you weren't liking the more trap banger focused tracks beforehand. Here's one to win you back. It's a little bit, I don't know, the flow is a little bit off for this track. And I feel like that's kind of the album's, what drags the album down a decent amount for me, unfortunately, is the fact that it is so disjointed, and it is trying to do so many things at so many different points. It's trying to have those mosh pit type bangers like Work. It's trying to have those conscious moments like of Blue or Glory. And it's also trying to have some R&B chilling and vibing type tracks in the middle, which aren't really the best in terms of production value. And I think this was done in part by JID to have more focus on his lyrical skills, which are still there and are still great, and he still has some of his best songs are still on this album. But I can't say that it's my favorite from him. I can't say it's anywhere near as good as Forever Story. And that's sort of not even really fair, because following up that album is a tall task. But overall, I think God Does Like Ugly is still a very good project. It does have its hang-ups when it comes to album structure, and it does have some points where the focus is a little bit less streamlined, and it is rather inconsistent, I will say. But it still presents some of the best lyrical moments in hip-hop this year. JID is still at the top of his game lyrically, still at the top of his game when it comes to flow and just charisma on the mic, and it's still a quality hip-hop project in a year full of frankly really great hip-hop. So I'm gonna call it there. I'm gonna give this record a 79. It's very good. Go check it out. Don't ignore this. And because of how different it is from the Forever Story, if you weren't as big a fan of the warm soul samples, you might like the different approach to the songs on this record. But yeah, that's kind of all I had to say. Let me know if you guys liked this more off the cuff structure that I've done here with this video, and also the Travis Scott video. And also I will be doing a video on the new Ethel Cain album, similar style to this, once I listen to the album a few more times. But anyway, enough of me. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. All that jazz. See you later.